My guest, Lori Citro, is one of the area's most accomplished pianists and a veteran of many area bands. She particularly enjoys adult contemporary pop music, so most of her work tends to be contemporary. Lori has opened for people like T-Bone Bukrnett, the Tubes, Jonathan Richman, and the Bodeans, just to name a few. Rachel Rocks of PA Magazine wrote of Lori Citro, "I was amazed she's a solo act that compares to Carole King. She plays acoustic folk songs from rockstar R&R blues to Thirsty, which is a prayer to God, and my favorite, You Were Made by God. I finally met someone as bouncy and energetic as I am." We'll be right back and we'll say hi to Lori. Lori, thank you very much for being on the program.
Thanks for having me, Ray. I'm really excited.
I want you to tell us a little bit about how long you've been writing songs and performing.
I started writing the very first song I wrote. I was 10, and it was an exercise from music class at school. And my teacher liked it, wanted to get it published. And then I continued through my middle school years, all the teenage drama that you write about, and then into high school. It's just been an ongoing thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
But in the bands that I played at, normally I wasn't the main songwriter. Right. And I really didn't get into bands until later, after I'd been divorced, and then I started playing in bands and doing rock music. But I went to, while I was in bands, I went to the Center for Media Arts because they had, I was really bad at, hooking up the PA and things, all the electronic stuff, because I'd always only played the piano. So I went to this school, Center for Media Arts, and the teacher there said, if you write music, you should be really performing it out, and, don't let your music die inside you. And I just became more avid about songwriting at that point and playing original music out.
Okay. Let's hear a song.
Okay. Okay. This song is called Gravel and Sand, and it's a collaboration. One of my collaborators, his name is Morten Mayer. He wrote the lyrics, and he's from Norway. And so this is Gravel and Sand. Everything's possible, Mama said to me. Girl, if you only believe, yeah, you can build castles, stone upon stone, steadfast and patiently. So I walk down life's roads in search of love, kicking pebbles away. At last I found me, my Mr. Right, on a beautiful summer day. Was a rock in my life, sturdy and strong. Nothing would go wrong, but then love started crumbling. I lost my man, now everything's just gravel and sand. Gravel and sand. Sand. Gravel and sand. Well, the diamonds he gave me turned out to be fake. False as a smile on his lips. Yeah, his love was as strong as a piece of clay. His mind like a solar eclipse. Was a rock in my life, sturdy and strong, and I was so sure nothing would go wrong. But then love started crumbling. I lost my man, now everything's just gravel and sand. Gravel and sand. Sand. Gravel and sand. Now I act like I know what I'm doing, pretend that I don't have the blues, trying to rebuild a future with the tools Mama taught me to use. I'll find a rock in my life, sturdy and strong, and I'll make sure nothing will go
Okay, Gravel and Sand.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a nice.
Thank you.
Song.
Thanks.
We're going to talk a bit about songwriting. Now, last show we had Jessica Gray, and she happened to mention that she has done some collaborating with you.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if it's in songwriting or performing or both. So that's the topic for the songwriting today is collaboration.
Awesome. Yeah, Jessica and I are good friends, and we have collaborated in performances. And we just recently did a collaboration in my house. We're all both doing FOM. So there was a group of us, and we did a collaboration in songwriting. I do a lot of collaborations during FOM. And
explain what that is.
FOM is February album writing month. So you write 14 songs in 28 days in the month of February. I've been doing it this is my 8th year.
Wow.
And we all get together and in addition to doing it online, do it in person. And we have the Delaware contingent is really pretty big. Although Jessica just moved to Ridley Park, so she's not in Delaware anymore. We still let her come.
She's in Delaware County. That's...
Exactly. So collaborations for me, it became a really big thing. I'm going to say maybe 3 years ago, I went to ASCAP.
Okay.
And I have family in Norway, and I have a lot of foreign exchange students that I've had from different countries. And I was trying to think of a way to travel and see everybody and play and see if I could just spread things out there. So I went to an international music what do you call those things? an international music. It was a meeting on getting your music into international markets, and they had somebody from Norway there and somebody from Canada, and they were talking about how in these countries, when they do recordings for the radio, they usually not like the U.S., but they'll take 60% that has to come from their country off the top, and so you have a better shot of actually getting played in a foreign country if you collaborate with somebody that lives in that country.
Okay.
Or you do any of the work there, or the recording. You're going to move to the top of the pile.
Wow.
So the last 3 years have been kind of the impetus of the collaborations that I've done. So I have collaborators. In fact, actually this summer I am going to Norway and going to meet the collaborator that just wrote that song with.
Okay.
And I met him on FOM. I wrote a couple of others that we'll do today. And with somebody from Canada and somebody from Austria. So I have some go-to collaborators now from different countries. And somebody from Australia.
You like co-writing at this point?
I do, but I think the process is maybe different than, say, somebody in the room. Typically, for co-writing, what happens is, for me, I look at somebody's lyrics, or they send me lyrics, and then I put music to it, and then I adjust the writing. I do a lot of writing on my own, but when I collaborate, they usually give me something that's set, and I read it, and then I go, oh, I really like these lyrics. Let me do something to it. So it's, I guess, more like Elton John and that kind of perspective. I'm the Elton, and somebody else is the
John.
Yeah.
Well,
no. I'm going to say, I'm thinking of Tim Rice, but there was somebody else before that. What was it? Bernie Taupin. He had a Bernie Taupin that was a great collaborator for him, and that's the way they worked. Bernie would bring a bunch of lyrics to him, and then he would write the music to it. So he did almost none of the lyric writing, although he was the performer.
Okay, we're going to hear another song from you.
Okay, this one is another collaboration. I wrote this with a fellow from Austria named Arthur Rossi, and this is called Believe Me or Leave Me. And all these songs are actually on my most recent CD. Our worst enemy is your constant jealousy. Yeah, don't give me room to live or breathe, no, no. And when I come back home, I could do whatever I want. I know there's no chance to make you believe me. Believe me or leave me. There's no other way. Yeah, 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 baby. Believe me or leave me. I've said all I have to say. or I will leave you. And it's not always a flirt when I talk to someone else. I don't understand the source of your fears, no, no. And you answer my phone like it's me that you own. Or you go rummaging through my things when I'm not there. Believe me, I'll leave me. There's no other way. Yeah, baby. Believe me, I'll leave me. I've said all I have to say. Yeah. Believe me, I'll leave me. And if you think I don't tell the truth, why are you here with me, baby? Believe me, I'll leave me, or I will leave you. It's too much that you care. You go looking for strange hair in the sand that you don't know. No, you check all my emails and my lover in jail. Your attempts to keep me are gonna make me go. Believe me, I'll leave me. There's no other way. Yeah, baby. Believe me, I'll leave me. I've said all I have to say. Believe me, I'll leave me. Oh, if you think I don't tell the truth, why are you here? Tell me, why are you here with me, baby? Believe me, I'll leave me, or I will leave you. Yeah, baby. Believe me, I'll leave me, or I will leave you.
I like that. I like that hook. Believe me or leave me. That's
Thank you.
that's cool.
You know, it's funny because when we did that on film, there's actually 3 people that wrote different sets of music to that particular lyric because it was really strong. Arthur really liked mine, so that was kind of nice. That out of the 3 people, he's like, "Oh, I really like these." So that's kind of the ones that we pushed. So
Cool. Now it's time for our Skype interview.
cool.
And my guest today is Nancy Moran, who's from Nashville.
Wow.
And I've known Nancy for quite a number of years. She's not only a solo artist, but she's also part of the Four Bitching Babes that originally was started by Christine Lavin. And in fact, Deirdre Flynn, who's from Philly, you know Deirdre?
No, I didn't.
She's one of the Four
Originals.
Bitching Babes also.
Cool.
So we're going to talk to Nancy right now, and my guest, Nancy Moran, is a working indie recording artist who has performed at venues such as the Bluebird Cafe, the Birchmere, Club Passim, and the Kerrville Folk Festival. Declared Songwriter of the Year by the Virginia Sound Achievement Awards and WXGI Radio, she has released 4 solo albums. Nancy is also a member of the very accomplished group, the Four Bitchin' Babes, who tour extensively. She is also a speaker and consultant on songwriting and the music business in general. From Nashville, Nancy Moran. Hi, Nancy.
Hey, Ray. How's it going? It's great to see you.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for joining me here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I wanted to ask you how long you've been writing songs and performing.
Wow. I've been writing and performing for over 25 years now. Yeah. I think I lost count. It's been a long time. It's funny. I hadn't really thought about it in those terms, but yeah, it's been over 25 years now.
And as far as the your being a speaker and a consultant, how long have you been doing that?
That's a really good question. I've been doing that for quite a while. It was just one of those things that happened organically. People just started asking me questions, and I'm pretty open and willing to share what I know. So it happened. I've probably been teaching and consulting for probably 20 of those 25 years.
We're going to talk about our songwriting topic today, which is collaboration, probably in a number of ways for you. Being in Nashville, that has to be the capital of the world as far as co-writing goes. But in terms of yourself, not just in terms of songwriting, but also collaborating, for example, with the Four Bitching Babes. If you could just give us your ideas on that, how that works, the best way to do that.
Well, the funny thing is that I live in Nashville, which you're right, is like the co-writing capital of the world. And I'm one of the few songwriters that I don't actually do a lot of strict co-writing, especially in the Nashville sense of the word, because people here in Nashville make appointments and they sit down at 10 o'clock and construct a song. That's never been my style, my form of creativity. That's never been my process for songwriting. I have actually co-written with some people, but mostly with people that I know and have some strong connection with, things like that. I actually didn't co-write any songs with the Four Bitchin' Babes, and I haven't co-written any songs with my other partner, Fett, my husband, which is really kind of fascinating that we haven't in all these years. But I do love collaborating with other people in the sense that I love to perform with other people. I love for there to be multiple people on stage and having the instruments going. I love to arrange with people. My husband and I all do that all the time. I'll write a song and then we'll get together and sort of construct the arrangement. How are we going to do it? What part is he going to play that's different than mine? What part is he going to sing with the harmony? Things like that. And I really enjoy doing that process a lot.
Do you also do that with the Bitching Babes in terms of all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. The Babes is a really interesting group because they started out really as 4 individual singer-songwriters when Christine Lavin started the group. They're also 25 years old this year, the group is. So they started out as 4 individual singer-songwriters, and over the years, as the members changed in the group and what they did as a group, they started adding parts. They would start singing harmonies, and now the group is really a group. Most of the time we sing songs together. There are a few, but just a handful of songs that people do individually with nobody else. But most of the time we're learning guitar parts and harmony parts. We're kind of known for doing 4-part harmonies and things like that. So it's a lot of fun to do that.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to do one of your songs.
Okay, sure. So I'm actually going to do a song that's sort of a new song for me, and by new I mean it hasn't made it onto a record of mine yet, but it was an interesting song for me to write because a friend of mine had taught me this kind of 2-capo technique thing, and it was just fun to play around with it, and this is sort of what came out. It's called Nothing But Love.
If you didn't come looking for
the grave. There's a truth that we all can believe in, day after day after day after day after. That truth is love, nothing but love, nothing but love. Faithful, unwavering, patient, unending, trusting, invincible, tender, encompassing, gracious and powerful, genuine, bona fide love. Nothing but love. Nothing but
Nice song.
Thanks, Ray.
You were mentioning it's not on a album yet. Are you looking to? You planning to do any more records?
You know, I don't know. That's a really good question. I would love to at some point in the future. I don't really feel like I have the material that I want right now to put onto a record. We've actually talked a lot about doing a cover record because covers were such a significant influence in my career. Just the types of covers that we chose were always a little bit off. They're just not the really popular ones that everybody else was doing, and so I'd love to do a record of those, and that might be the next thing that we do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about our performing topic. This show is the Performing Songwriter, not just songwriting. And you know, I was thinking, like, you know, people that are in theater, you know, they do a whole blocking thing, and they rehearse for, you know, a pretty long time. And you know, while songwriters might rehearse their songs, I don't know how much people actually rehearse their performance. And I was going to ask you, in terms of, you know, practicing and so forth, is that part of your regimen, I guess?
It really should be. That's the answer to that question. I'm really bad at practicing, and I practice sort of when I have to. I'm not good at doing the hour a day thing like, you know, I know a lot of people do, and that's the best way to do it. And I also know from my performing experience that it does really help to practice the entire performance. Now, I will say, Fed and I have done this often. When we do practice, we often set up microphones. We don't necessarily plug it into a sound system, but we set up the microphone stands, and we'll stand where we're going to stand. And the reason for that is sometimes if you're just playing at home like this, you know, sitting down and playing with your guitar in your lap, it's really, really different to play those songs standing up and with a microphone in front of your face. So yeah, we've definitely done that, and it's incredibly helpful. With the Babes, we do fairly long sound checks, and so we'll go through whole songs, but I don't think we've ever really rehearsed the things in between, the little snippets that we do. You know, I'll go over those things in my head. It does really help to rehearse what you're going to say before a song, so I do that mostly in my head or in the car when I'm driving, sometime by myself, things like that.
That's a good idea, putting the mics up. I hadn't really thought of that before.
Yeah, it's really a different process to rehearse in front of microphones because, you know, when you've got a mic sitting in front of you, you can't move the same way that I can move here, you know. And it's just your whole body position is different when you're sitting than when you're standing. I actually prefer to stand when I play, so I like to rehearse standing up, having the guitar fall the right way and things like that.
Have you ever used a video to kind of see how you perform?
We have, not really on purpose. We just had some performances that were videotaped, and we saw that was really a horrific experience. You know, yeah, it's kind of, I guess it's very similar to when you're starting out and you first hear your voice on audio and it doesn't sound the same as it sounds in your head. You know, somehow I don't look the same on video that I think that I look like. I'm not even sure what I think I look like, but it's very helpful because it doesn't lie, and it points out exactly where you're doing things that you don't know that you're doing, you know. I remember one of the things was because this was really early on in our career, and I remember that we looked down a lot. We saw ourselves just looking down. I guess maybe at our guitars, it kind of looked like we were looking at our feet. And so it was a great learning experience because it made us go, oh, we really need to lift our heads up and look at the audience. And that can actually feel awkward when you're first doing it, you know, to just look up and kind of look out at the audience while you're doing something. But from the audience's perspective, it never looks awkward, and it actually draws them in. So it's just one of those things you have to learn by doing.
And that's also the part of, you know, having a relationship with the audience.
Absolutely. I remember really early on too, before I really did a lot of performing, and I was going to the Birchmere and watching a lot of performers, and you know, an awful lot of singer-songwriters close their eyes just like I did in that last song because there was really no audience to look at. But you know, we close our eyes and we get really involved in the song, and in small doses, I think that's really good because it shows that you're really into what you're singing, you're really feeling what you're singing. But when you do that all the way through the song, when you close your eyes, you're literally blocking out the audience and not letting them in to that song with you. And I know a lot of people that are really annoyed by people who close their eyes through the whole song. I just find, I've worked with some performers, and when I get them to open up, I did this one performing class for NSAI, and I literally had someone play their song the way they do it because I knew that they closed their eyes. And then I had them do the exact same song in front of the same audience, and all they did was open their eyes and look at particular people. We sort of blocked out the song, exactly. And bar none, like every single person in the room like gasped at the difference that it made in the powerfulness of the song that they were singing. So you have to make that connection with the audience.
Yeah, good point. Another song.
All right, well, this one is a song that I haven't recorded as a solo artist, but I did record this with the Four Bitchin' Babes, and it's on their record, Diva Nation. So this was the second record that I did with them. And this was a funny song to me anyway because it came out of 12 weeks of sort of absolute hell that I was going through. It was just one of those periods of my life where, you know, little things, but over and over. The car broke down, and I got stuck in Atlanta during the gas crisis, and you know, and the septic system backed up, and it was just, you know, little things over and over and over again, but for 12 weeks solid. And after a while, it sort of grates on your nerves. And so what I find funny about it is that in the middle of all that turmoil, I wrote what I would consider to be a happy song. And it's literally called a happy song. So. Every single morning was the same old thing. Stumble out of bed and start my suffering. I was negative and miserable and really good at whining. But recently I asked the universe for change. Now I'm feeling kind of funny and I'm acting strange. I actually giggled just because the sun was shining. What's happening? Am I going crazy? Reality is definitely overrated. I've never been the type to write a happy song, but my self-esteem is rising and my chi is strong. My biorhythms indicate an upswing of emotion. So I've canceled my appointment to see Dr. Phil and threw out my prescription for those happy pills, because if attitude is everything, I've really got it going. Can this be me? I feel so amazing. Hard to believe happiness is happening to me, and I don't know why it took my whole world crumbling to see that the one in control of my happiness is me. Now I'm grateful for the little things in every day. I'm speaking, thinking, acting in a karmic way. In case you haven't noticed yet, I just can't stop smiling, 'cause I finally figured out my own philosophy. The secret to a happy life is up to me, that I'm the only universal law I can rely on. remarkably. Happiness is happened to me, and I don't know why it took my whole world crumbling to see that the one in control of my happiness is I. Don't know why it took my whole world crumbling to see that the one in control of my happiness is I. Know that I don't need my whole world crumbling to see that the one in control of my happiness is me.
You must have had one good day in the midst of all that.
What was that?
You must have had one good day in the midst of all that.
You know, I really didn't. It was really like total 12 weeks of sheer torture, but I think I sort of willed myself into I'm not going to stay there. I'm not going to go there. I don't know. I'm not sure what started the whole process for that song, but it was really fun, and I do actually think it was part of the thing that got me out of that 12-week mess. I really do.
Oh, you know, I wanted to ask you, in terms of your like consulting stuff, do you do any of that on Skype?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do quite a bit of it on Skype. I actually even do some just by phone. People who don't want to actually do the Skype thing or feel technologically challenged, you know, I can just do it by phone. Do it in person. Whatever works.
Now, what kind of things do you do with people?
It really varies significantly because I just have a lot of different experiences. I like to say I was indie before indie was cool. Because I really did my own thing long before a lot of people were really doing it. So I've been my own record label, I've been my own booking agent, I've been my own manager, I've been my own publicity department, you know. So it really depends on what the goals are for the person that I'm working with. And I've actually worked with people who aren't musicians. I've worked with a storyteller before. I'm working with a girl right now who's partially a musician, but she's also an actress. So it's about taking their goals and figuring out how to get them towards there, and it covers the gamut. And like I said, I've also done these performing workshops, so I deal with whatever it is that they need to get them to that next level.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun, actually.
I bet. So if somebody's interested in that, or interested in finding out where you're going to be playing and so forth, and how to buy your recordings, what's the best way to do that?
The best way is actually through my business website, which is azaleamusic.com, and it's tricky. It's AZALEA music.com. I also do have my personal website, nancymoran.com, and you can buy any of my CDs from CD Baby. That's probably the easiest way to get them.
Okay. Nancy, thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks, Ray. This has been a lot of fun. It's really great to reconnect with you.
Okay, take it easy. I want to thank Nancy for talking to me from Nashville, I should say. Yeah. I'm going to have you go right into another song.
Okay.
Your smile is so warm, but you might as well be on the moon, Amsterdam. Your heart beats my song, even though it's cold and often wrong. Amsterdam is where you are. It's where you are, not where I am. Not where I am.
That's a pretty song.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, has anyone covered your songs?
Actually, last year, one of the songs that I had done a collaboration on, Liz Petty is the girl that I collaborated with. She has somebody named Beth Keeley that put it on a CD, and it was the closer. I'm trying. There's been some things in FAM. I mean, not in PASA, Philadelphia Area Songwriters Alliance, when we do like the Cover Me Party and things like that. But nothing. I don't think as far as big recordings.
Have you tried to shop your songs?
I have, and I actually have a publisher,
Good.
PA Music, but nothing's really come of that yet.
Well, you know, pop music is again using melodies, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to talk about practice. Not just practicing your songs, but practicing for your performance, and how you do that.
When I'm performing, especially with a band, like the last year, I've done a couple big shows that were, like a Carole King tribute and a Linda Ronstadt tribute. And typically, I've had other artists come in, and my band will do a good portion. We'll open and we'll close and play for other people and do some, and I'll just kind of produce that whole thing. Then we practice, every Saturday when we're doing something like that, and before then it's a lot of doing the legwork of what songs we're going to do and who's going to do what on a regular basis. I'm really fortunate that I have a piano. I teach at Music and Arts, and I teach at Sanford School, so I always have a piano access, and so I always have something there, and I'm going through hand-in scales and things like that, and then playing my own songs or just writing new songs. So that would be like the lion's share. If I'm getting ready to do a gig, I typically will set my stuff up, and then I will, especially if it's just me, and I will, play through the whole set. And I have to do that kind of ahead of time. If I'm playing with the band, I have to make sure that the set's set, because my bass player likes to know exactly what he likes to practice a lot. So even if they're not practicing with me, before recording, I know what songs I'm going to do, and like the last CD that I did, my drummer was in Washington D.C. that did that, so I just sent him things over the internet, and then literally came in and we did it cold. And the same thing for my CD release party. He knew what was going to be on the set list, and we practiced without him, and then came in and practiced right before the CD release. But we'd all practice on our own. Okay,
and I would think good practicing makes you comfortable when you're ready to walk out on stage. More comfortable than if you kind of shirked it a little bit. Yeah.
But actually, I guess I'm lucky, because if we're doing original music, we're doing my own songs, then I know them. They're instinctive. Right. Although sometimes maybe the lyrics are the things that I'd forget, because they're the things I made up to begin with.
But the audience doesn't necessarily know the lyrics.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to listen to one more song.
Okay. So this one's going to be a little bit different. I wrote this with a guy named Peter Murphy from Australia, and it's called Wicked. And he originally wrote these lyrics for a man, and I changed them around for a woman, and then wrote the music. Well, I'm the girl your mother warned you about, the nightmare of your dad. Forget pious and devout, you ain't that sort of lad. Well, I'll drive you crazy, drive you wild, drive you mad. I might always be wicked, but I ain't ever bad. It's not a knight in shining armor that I'm looking for, and I won't find you standing outside my castle door. Well, I'm looking for excitement, I don't need Sir Galahad. I might always be wicked, but I ain't ever bad. Well, some folks call me evil, some call me just plain wrong. Don't ever call me Maurice, 'cause I can't stand that song. No, call me dangerous, call me deadly, call me risky and insane. You won't care what they're saying when you're calling out my name. risky and insane. You won't care what they're saying when you're calling out my name. Well, I'm the devil in the details, the demon in your head, Satan in your satin sheets, Beelzebub in your bed. It ain't no sin to want the beast, think the best you've ever had. I might always be wicked, but I ain't ever bad. I said I might always be wicked, but I ain't ever bad.
That was a fun song.
Thanks, it's fun to do.
If people want to learn about you, find out where you're playing, how can they do that?
The best way to find me is on Reverb Nation, reverbnation.com, and or on Facebook. Well, / Lori Citro, LORICITRO, and also I have a Facebook page that's linked up with that too. So that's the best way.
And people can get your recordings.
Yeah, the recordings are up there. All the newer things from the Pandora's Box CD and the Red Shoes are on there. I believe I just got that stuff on iTunes too. At least the Pandora's Box I know, but I haven't double checked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you want to talk a little bit about next show.
Sure.
Our in-studio guest is a guy named Joe Fanning, who is from Philadelphia. And we will see him in a couple weeks. The Skype guest is a secret because I haven't figured it out yet. So anyway, but as
mystery.
as always, it'll be somebody good.
Good.
Lori, thank you very much.
Than's for having me.
It was great.
Yeah, so much fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we will hopefully see you live.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back in a couple of weeks.